Welcome back. Start Lighthouse is committed to revitalizing underutilized library spaces, transforming them into vibrant learning environments, inspiring a love for reading among students. The organization has just announced the opening of its third literacy hub, which will serve 600 students and their families, building on the success of its two previous hubs established in local Title I schools. Joining us now are Start Lighthouse's Director of Programming, Deborah Rose. Deborah, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here with you.
Now, can you tell me a little bit more about the mission of Start Lighthouse and how it addresses literacy challenges in the Bronx?
Sure. So we are really focused on the joy of reading. So many of our students struggle with reading and learning to read, and so we really want to put the joy back in reading so that students really want to pick up a book on their own and learn from their own experiences reading fiction, nonfiction, fantasy, anything that they're interested in.
Now, how does this differ from traditional literacy programs, and what inspired the idea of having a literacy hub?
So Rena Madani, who's our executive director, founded Start Lighthouse during the pandemic when she was teaching and all of the kids went on Zoom and were looking for resources. She partnered with Danielle Keene, who's the principal of PS5, to just find resources and distribute materials for students. During that process, she realized that there were totally defunct library spaces within Title I schools and set about on this mission to try to revitalize these spaces to make them come alive for the students in the schools.
Now, what specific programs and activities can students and their families expect to find at the new literacy hub?
So much like our other two literacy hubs, we run programming every day, all day. We have a site coordinator who works with classes all day during the day and during after school programming. Our lessons are really skill-based, where we're trying to get the kids to improve their reading comprehension skills, but we do it in a way that feels relaxed, comfortable for the kids. The pressure is taken off because the books are read to them, and then there are great discussions using these culturally relevant books that really feel like they're relatable to the students.
And I definitely want to expand on the idea of it being culturally relevant. Could you elaborate on the role of BIPOC authors in your programming and the significance of providing students, with that opportunity to kind of see themselves in their books?
Absolutely. That's really part of our mission, to make sure that the books are relatable to the kids and that they see themselves in the books. So our libraries are filled with culturally relevant books. They're all curated by us. And we find that the kids can see themselves in the books and then want to explore the books even more.
And I understand that they're also signed, which I think is pretty cool. What impact does that have on the kid to know that somebody actually, took the time to sign the book that they're reading?
Yeah, not only are they signed, we often have authors and illustrators in our spaces to read to the students their books, and to be able to then sign the books that the kids go home with. And I should also note that several times a year, our students do book shopping within our hubs. So our hubs transform into bookshops, and the kids take home 4 books to add to their home libraries. And that really makes a difference so that they feel ownership over the books and can revisit them whenever they want.
And I definitely want to add that I think that's so amazing because here in the Bronx, we don't have that many areas where we can go shopping for books. And just the idea of like a place to read and having a book is unfortunately dwindling. It's nice to see that there are programs out there that are trying to kind of create that space for kids. So I think that's amazing. Mm-hmm. Now, what challenges did Start Lighthouse face when revitalizing library spaces in schools, and how were these challenges overcome?
So, of course, fundraising. We are really looking for a variety of revenue streams. We have funders from companies to other organizations, and we also rely on state and federal funding. One of our hubs at PS 214 was funded with federal funding that was secured for us by Congresswoman Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez, and this new hub also we were helped by state funding that was secured by Assemblymember Amanda Septimo.
Now, I definitely want to talk about the idea of revitalizing a library in a school, because when I think about my own experience, I remember like, oh yeah, in my high school, the library was never in use. Why do you think as a society we have kind of like maybe kind of left school libraries in the shadows?
Yeah, I mean, it's really sad to see these spaces that are, have become storage closets, basically. I think, the use of screens has been part of the issue, and there's really nothing like having a book in your hands. And that's really what we want to get the kids to understand and to be able to appreciate. So in our spaces, screen time is very limited. We have books in the children's hands while they're in the space that they then can shop later. And also the fact that they're engaging with the books that they choose is really important as well.
Now, what feedback have you received from students and parents about the literacy hubs?
So, I mean, the kids' faces when they come into the space are just awe. They really feel, to quote them, calm, comfortable, cozy. Those are some of the words they use to describe the space. And they come to see it as a place that they can relax and enjoy part of their day. And parents also are really excited by the fact that their children have this in their own schools. And we also run programming for parents on how to read a book to your child at home, how to make that part of your home routine. So they appreciate that as well.
Now, how do you envision the future of literacy education in the Bronx, particularly with initiatives like Start Lighthouse leading the way?
So we work also with New York City Public Schools. There's a big push. New York City Reads is on everyone's minds right now. And we're working to try to expand our programming and also just the mission of having kids enjoy reading and making that a possibility for more children across the 5 boroughs.
Now, what can people do if they're watching and they maybe want to donate books or, help in any way?
So the best thing to do is to visit our website, startlighthouse.org, where you can donate. We don't take used books. However, there are lots of ways to get involved. Come volunteer with us. We love to have people in the space to work with the students. And of course, donations are always appreciated.
Well, Deborah, I want to thank you so much for joining us. This kind of holds a special place for me because I grew up reading and I grew up in a library, so I think this is amazing work. So once again, I just want to thank you so much for the work that you're doing and for sharing that with us here on BronxNet.
Thank you so much for having me.
For more information, you can visit the website at startlighthouse.org. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more Open right after this.